like share around. You should have some music or some shows.
We'll do that next. But now, you
Is it on? I think you said, yeah. Try another way of going live doing your broadcast.
You live.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do all that now. It's been an ordeal.
Mm.
Hey, everybody, all two of y'all.
You gotta wait for me.
Yeah.
Join.
If you guys join, please share this. Please, please, please. How long should we let this go?
That's a good question.
We're gonna have the feedback.
Nah, I'm finna share it.
Nine people. Thank y'all so much for coming in. I really like my new space. Can y'all hear me okay? Hey, will y'all let me know if y'all can hear me with some kind of little emoji or something? Because thank you, D. Thank you, D. Hey, Miss Gwen and Keisha. Hey, PLCC. It might be. Hey, Shalonda. Kennedy, it might get warm in here. Yeah, it's warm. You want to go see if you... Let me go adjust the thing. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Uncle Matt. Hey, Miss Jackie. Good, I'm glad y'all can hear me. Hey, Cousin Ann. Let me adjust the temperature.
Hey, y'all. Let's see. Who's all in attendance? Let's see who's here. Let's see. Hi, guys. I hope y'all are having a great Sunday. Ended up warming up pretty well for me. Hey, Uncle Mac.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me scoot out the way.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Push the door. Uh-oh. Hey, Therese. And Meek. Am I too far away, y'all? Y'all gonna have to bear with me. Well, if I feel too far away, I can move it. Because it's got to be right for me. I love this new rocking chair. I do. All right, 29 people. Hey, Brenda. And Miss Charlene, thank you for chiming in. And T. Hey, Cindy. Oh, my God. Cindy wants to be in the video. Cindy, I'm going to try to bring you in. Approve. Hey, Rakia. Cindy, did you try to get in?
I want to do all that.
I know you need to learn how to do it. If you're working with me. Hey, Charlotta. Yeah. Ripley High School. Hey. Hey, Cindy. Hey. What time is it again?
7:04.
Yeah. Hey, Riley. All right. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Since this is my platform, I want to call on my higher power, which is God, through his son, Jesus. And just praying that God would bless this time and that the Lord will give me strength, me and my daughter, to get through this. And hopefully it becomes a blessing. If it's just to one person, it's worth what we're doing. So one of the first things I want to explain, and you guys please share this too, because we want this to get traction. We want people to know about what we're doing. One of the things I want to explain, leave it up to Henny, somebody call it. Please don't, I put it on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. So I want to explain, hey Keisha, what the University of Mental Health is. And so with that, I have to take y'all back just a little bit. I think many of you know I was at Lakeside over a decade doing a lot of trauma work, y'all. A lot of trauma work. I don't think there's not any population I have not worked with. I was doing some numbers the other night, and at one time I was doing 9 trauma groups a week. Plus my private practice, not to mention some of the individual sessions alongside the trauma groups, from children to adults, addiction, you name it. I could handle it, and I loved it. I loved it, and still love the work. I don't want to say long story short, but going along, doing trauma work, respecting the resilience of humans, and especially the resilience of Black people, y'all. The stories of, and this is where some of the trigger warning stuff may come in, of sexual abuse and molestation and rape and murder and kidnap and torture over and over and over again. And I was able to beautifully walk with people through a lot of their work. And at the end of the day, it was teaching people to forgive themselves for what they could not stop, could not control. And also teaching people to honor some of the stuff, that they made it through. So in 2000, I think it was 2013, I became director of trauma. I was already working, 3 years, I think, before that. But 2015 is when one of the biggest traumas of my life happened. And I remember going to Lakeside, walking into the trauma room, and stood there for a minute. And I turned around and walked out, made a U-turn, and called a therapist, and made an appointment, because I knew I had been hit, and I had been hit hard. So there's no way I could stand up in front of those people and continue to do this sacred work without getting help myself. So got in therapy and working on myself. Also during that time, and my trauma was me ended a 19-year marriage. And that's all I'm going to say about that. For now, we're going to see where this goes. But 2015, my marriage was over after 19 years. And I now realize that in order to medicate myself, I worked even more. I created programs and probably working about 80 hours a week, meeting people where they were, and I could do it with ease. Not that I was reckless or careless. The work was so beautifully done. I wanted more of it. But the whole time that I was working and helping and saving people and witnessing them as they were being healed, my children were unprotected. Dun, dun, dun. Not dun, dun, dun. But, and I'm just finding a lot of this out because working that much and that long, I would say that I was a workaholic. I would say I had an addiction to the work. It was a way for me to numb and not deal with my own pain. In doing so, well, I have to let you know some of the other parts of the story. My marriage fell apart. My ex-husband left, and a week later, my son, at that time was 16, some of you heard this story, was charged with rape of 3 white girls. So from the marriage falling apart, and now worried about my black son being caught in the legal system, I kind of didn't have time to rest from one trauma to another. And other stuff happened in between that too. So, with that, and I'm trying to slow down, I don't want to rush this. My daughter, who's here, hey baby,
Hi.
She's gonna come on when she gets ready. I'm trying to just kind of, let her have her way, because I think this is gonna be tough for her. We're going through what our family was going through, just kind of imploded, exploded. Some of you were there. Uncle Mac, if you're still watching, I can't hardly tell. But it warms my heart when I think about those who showed up and who stayed. But in the middle of all of that, y'all, my oldest child, Kennedy, my kids are only 14 months apart, 2 kids, 14 months apart, kind of got dumped with responsibilities. And she was forgotten. She was showed up, though. She was very responsible, taking care of my brother who has disabilities. She became Mom Junior. But she was very unseen and unheard. And I realized I needed Kennedy to be okay. I needed her to look okay and act okay so that I could keep going, if that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Y'all give me a yes or a no, because I feel like I'm...
It makes sense to me.
Are y'all there?
Probably gotta get on there.
I think it timed out just a little bit. I'm not sure what happened.
Because I'm watching.
Are you still watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all still there?
Yeah. They're reacting, yeah.
Okay, so I see the reaction now. So my oldest child, Kennedy, just kind of didn't get her needs met, but she was definitely able to perform and act as if her needs were met. So I'm going to give her a chance to be heard. I'm going to give her a chance, a platform to be heard. When I found out I was pregnant with Caleb, Kennedy was probably about 4 or 5 months old. In my opinion, we never really bonded because there was a little brother on the way, and when Caleb was born, he was sick. So I had spent a lot of time taking care of him, and the whole time, my cute little bubbly toddler, my little girl, was pushed to the side. Kennedy was always pushed to the side, still doing what needed to be done. She was performing, very performative. And she never got what she needed. That's as much as I want to say before going into her story. Now, we've had a lot of knockdown dragouts to where we would go months without speaking. And I don't know if there's a parent that has gone months without speaking, to your child, but you probably know what that feels like, not knowing if they were dead or alive. I don't know if they're still there, Kennedy.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, not knowing if they're dead or alive. So, it was agonizing. So when she would attempt to, is it still going? Because my screen stopped. I don't know if I need to.
It's gone.
I can't see it.
See what?
I need. Okay, y'all still there?
Yeah, they're probably not just interacting, as.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe
they're
listening.
Yeah, they're just listening. Yeah.
So where was I?
I have no clue.
Okay. So Kennedy and I would go through knockdown dragouts to where. Now let me say this: we didn't cuss each other out, didn't call each other out of our names. That we didn't do. But it got bad. Her father left. Caleb at that time was going to school, and it was just me and her, and she did her thing. And I was too tired and depressed to do anything about it. I'm just gonna keep it real. I was too tired and depressed to do anything at all about it. And so when she would come to me and say things like, "You don't listen to me, you were not there for me," I would get defensive and begin to say,
she said it's going in and out.
Is it still going in and out?
I'm not sure.
I got it. Because I want y'all to get this. So I'm going to look if it's still going in and out.
Keep going. I'm getting my AirPods.
I don't know if they can hear me and telling me to keep going. Okay. I don't want this to confuse me anymore.
Confused with what? What you about to do?
I'm just trying to see. I want to see what it's doing so I don't get...
I'm on the live.
Okay, you're on it too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've been doing it the whole time.
So where did I stop?
You said it hasn't been bad or something.
Well, yeah, so there were weeks where in Memphis I didn't know where she was. And there were nights that I would just sleep in my prayer closet because I didn't have a clue where she was. And my prayer a lot of times became, well, Lord, she belongs to you. But when she would confront me about, you were not there for me and you don't listen to me, I would get very defensive. I would say, you got, a car. I think the year Ken left, 3 cars got wrecked. None of them were her fault though, but still, thinking I bought 3 cars, you went to Europe, like, what do you mean? I was not there. And so we would just go back and forth, back and forth. And it wasn't until we would go back and forth, and I was almost watching her, y'all, decompensate, like right in front of me. Like her personality, self-esteem, just in a dark place, and I couldn't reach her. I'm still going to my job, though, killing it. Almost making up theories and techniques on the spot. Knowing what to do, knowing how to deal with somebody else's trauma, but in complete denial about my own. So it wasn't until I decided to do deeper work on myself, because it was to the point that I didn't like either of my kids. I would tell my kids, I don't trust you emotionally, because there would be times that things were going well, and then it seemed like they would flip it on me, and I would be like, what did I do wrong? So Cindy said it's connecting perfect. Okay. Yeah. So it felt like, and I'm going to say Kennedy, it felt like playing mind games with me. I thought we were good, then we were not. I realize now clinically, it's all the resentment that she had. All the resentment she had, toward me. But it wasn't until, y'all, I got to a deeper level work with myself. And I remember saying to my friend Lee, I don't know if Lee is watching, but if you guys follow me, I share Lee's post a lot. And when I think about Lee, that makes me a little tearful. And I don't know if Lee's watching, but I need to tell y'all about Lee. I went to a conference, Philadelphia, years ago, psychodrama. And I was blown away by psychodrama. I love doing psychodrama work. But I met a lady, at that time my hair was locked. Lee wears locks. And we were probably the only 2 black women there, and about, I know it was a whole lot of people. I want to say 3,000, 1,500, but psychodrama people, I mean, you guys can chime me in. But Lee and I looked alike, so they were playing a name tag game. And people kept coming up to me saying, are you Lee? And she said people kept coming up to her saying, are you Kelly? Well, when we saw each other, just kind of screamed, ah. And so we connected from that point. And when I left that psychodrama conference, I didn't know I was coming home to start working on getting a divorce. But I thank God so much that he sent Lee. So Lee helped me with all of that. And Lee was kind of like a therapist, a sister, a mom. And I know I'm jumping around a little bit. But I remember, I think, leaving my therapist, complaining about my Kennedy, accusing me of not being there. And so I'm basically bitching to Lee about it. And they keep saying that I left them, I was working, and I never forget, Lee said these words, well, Kelly, you did leave. You were working, but you left. And from their eyes, you left. And y'all, they hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I left, I did. Work was what I knew to do to numb. So I had to find some grace and compassion for myself. At the end of the day, I can't keep defending my actions because to Kennedy, it felt like I left. And I was listening to a podcast, I think reading a book or something. My neighbor, Bill Wells, gave me a podcast to listen to. And I thank God so much for Bill and LaTonna Wells. When it comes to trauma, y'all, we always think about the people that hurt us and left us. I dare y'all to think about some of the people who showed up and stayed. Same traumatic situation, but I dare you to think about the people that showed up and stayed. Y'all, I had some people that showed up and stayed. But Lee planted the seed, Kelly, you left, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And listening to the podcast, and my therapist later confirmed it, started talking about that adult children, my daughter is an adult, need the opportunity to name, N-A-M-E, how they experience you with their trauma and even in your trauma. They need to feel safe enough to name what the experiences were without you hearing that as blame. That was transformative for my relationship with my adult children. Because then I had to be a G. You'll see my shirt. I am therapy. I'm real about this, for real, for real. I mean this with everything in me. I don't just talk it, I live it, I teach it. So I had to be a G, and I had to go back to my kids. And I had to ask things like, how was it for you when I was away helping everybody else? How scared were you? How was it for you to need me, knowing that I was not available? I had to hear a lot of that. And honestly, some of the parts I heard, and of course I apologized. And I really just have to say, forgive me for how you experienced me. That was not my intent. Now, before I got into therapy and did deeper work on myself, my response would be, well, I'm sorry, I'm just not good enough. Nothing is ever good enough for you. I can't do anything right. That's what I would continue to do. And all that would do was just build a wall even more. But when and me working, yeah, I had to work. I had to make good money. But y'all, I didn't have to work that much. It was too painful for me to go home and look at my kids. So work took care of that. I didn't want to be there. I didn't have an explanation. I didn't have a response. It took me, and the whole point of what I'm saying, I had to go to therapy to get help in order for my adult children to be okay. And I get a lot of phone calls from parents, of children, even adult children, that say, oh, my child needs therapy. My child needs to go to therapy. Or what can I do, about my daughter's son or brother going to therapy? These people that you are so concerned about are not going to get any better than you are willing to get. And a big part of why we are doing this live is because, y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm just going to talk to black folks, okay? Black people that know me, that are friends and family, that kind of stuff. I'm getting comfortable now. Yeah, I'm going to keep it real. I get so tired of being called and texted when you're in crisis about certain situations regarding your kids and that kind of stuff. Unless and until you are willing to take a look at you, even your grown kids, they're not going to get any better than what you're willing to do. Period. And it's painful to hear that. And I even ended up saying to my kids when they were kids, because it was more Caleb, he's not here, than Kennedy, that would love to bring up who I was in the midst of, from 2015, because we live our lives before 2015, after 2015. So he would bring up a lot of times who I was and what I didn't do. And finally, I said, I can hear that all day because I'm not that person anymore. I'm not her anymore. You're talking about Kelly from 2015. Today, the challenge becomes, what do my kids need from the person I am today? But even in 2015, as I said, I'm a great mom. There are times I was not a good mom. while I did not want to hurt or harm my kids, and I want to say this to some of you parents, there are some things I did not say I was sorry for because I wasn't sorry. I had to work. So some ways I responded with, forgive me for how you experienced me during that time. It wasn't my intent. But I could not say I am sorry over certain things because then that would have dishonored me. So that's a delicate balance if you guys can get that. But I didn't use that part till probably about 2 weeks later because I had to process it. My assignment was listen to them tell you what they needed during some of the worst times of their life. Didn't matter if I couldn't do it, but I had to hear the naming without me hearing it as blame. If you can listen to our conversation, and I do have some anxiety about this conversation, there's some things Kennedy has talked at or around, and she still may, tonight. I'm going to say, and some of you, if you are the oldest child or the child in your family that's the most resilient or strongest, you may get this. You performed so well that nobody wanted to hear what you had to say. So with Kennedy, she was either seen and not heard, didn't want to be seen. Not in order to repair that. I do want to give her my platform to do that tonight. I feel like I owe her that. We went back and forth about whether we should script something or rehearse something, which wouldn't be a lie, because one of my biggest fears about this risk that we're taking, I don't want to unprotect her any more than she's already been unprotected. I don't want to leave her open. So let me just say this too. While we are talking, I'm checking the comments. Don't come for my baby. Don't come for her. I'm protecting her even on this platform. I mean, I really am. So couldn't protect her then. Damn sure gonna protect her now. So the best way I think to watch the conversation that we're having is if you are a daughter or a child, kind of consider my reactions and where I was, hoping you can show some compassion to maybe your parent. And if you are a mother or a parent, try to listen intently to what Kennedy has to say about her role. Parents, I know it is hard when they say what we didn't do well, but if we want them to heal, we have to own it. We have to own it. Now, I'm not saying they need to know all your business. Transparency is better than honesty. I can be transparent and say there's some things that I did I wish I had not done, and I still regret them today. I don't have to give the details, but you guys will be surprised at how many people I've sat in session with on couches that I've asked them if they could say to the hurt or harmed person, can you just say, I wish I would have done that differently? And it will not come out of their mouths. For people that have been, and there are only 3 types of woundings. My hope is that, that you'll listening for the 3 types. Abandonment, when you go through a trauma or wounding, let me say trauma, because I do believe what I went through was trauma, what my daughter went through was trauma. But in the trauma, once you begin to unpack those, there are 3 types. And thank you, J.L. Moreno, in the world of psychodrama. That would be abandonment, inadequacy, and powerlessness. Any traumatic situation you have ever gone through, it goes back to you were abandoned, nobody was there, they left, they didn't show up. You were made to feel inadequate, as if you did not matter, or you did not have any power to change or control the situation. And if you went through a situation to where you were abandoned, inadequate, and didn't have any power, if the trusted adult in your life, after coming out of a trauma, if the trusted adult in your life ignored your wound, and that's what I did, I would say to Kennedy, ignored it. If they shamed you for your wound, meaning called you weak, you should be over that by now, or blamed you and said it's your fault, if they ignored you, shamed you, or blamed you, you probably still have active trauma. So parents, some of your adult children still probably have active trauma. If you were in too much pain yourself that you just ignored it, or if the pain got to be so much, you accuse them of being weak, you're just faking, or you're just attention seeking. And let me say this, y'all, attention seeking, which Kennedy was attention seeking, but attention seeking is never attention seeking, it's connection seeking. People that act out, they're connection seeking. They want connection. Connection, because going through a trauma, you're disconnected from everything. Everything. But parents, if you ignored it, shamed it, or blamed them, said it was their fault that something happened, then you do have an adult child that probably still secretly resents you. They're probably still, they're probably so mad at themselves, your adult children. I've seen this a lot in therapy. They don't know why they still love the parent who has always neglected them, left them, and abused them. People get mad at themselves because they still have a longing for even the people that are not there that hurt them. Another reason I really wanted to do this, and especially with my kid, I also believe that we're in the last days, y'all. I do. This Ukraine war, I do think it's World War III. Now, I think the last days probably could last next 20, 50 years, but to me, it's officially the last days. I'm launching this platform because I get to do what I love. I love doing this. I could do this all day long. I have always done so with integrity. And integrity means I have to start working on my stuff first. I think I was giving myself 30 minutes to set this up. So I'm kind of letting y'all get to know me. So I hope y'all getting to know me. Okay. But I want to do this with integrity. And so I want to tell you about the University of Mental Health. With me, and by now you guys probably see that I have a lot of knowledge, and I do. Patients have taught me well. Leaving Lakeside, the hardest part for me was leaving the child and adolescent unit, especially the Black and brown kids on the unit. Because with as much trauma as my daughter went through, she still did have a warm place to stay and a semi-present mother. And so we're at this point of healing. I want to University of Mental Health to become an urban boarding school right here in Memphis. I have witnessed so much sexual abuse, sex trafficking from babies as young as 10 years old. In and out, of Lakeside. 3 days, 5 days, 7 days was certainly not enough to begin to try to work on trauma, especially if they were going to discharge. You had no idea where they were going next. So with them coming in and out, I'm watching over a decade this revolving door, and I thought, what would happen if I could just keep these kids with me? What would happen if I didn't have to send them back to these neighborhoods? So what I want to build is a school that will take in kids that have gone through trauma. I want to keep them, though, for 5 years at a minimum. Somebody said, why 5 years? I said, because the first 2 years, they're going to try me. But I want to keep them for 5 years doing trauma work, making sure they have bed, clothes, and food, and that I want to keep them, nurture them, to kind of rewrite some of these stories. But here's the niche that I have, and people have said to me, oh, Kelly, you don't want to give people your ideas. I don't think it's my idea. I think God gave me this idea. If somebody else has the money, can take it and run with it, it needs to be done. What I want to do with my school, that as these kids come in, and I want y'all just to kind of imagine this. I call everybody Ray Ray. But Ray Ray, Pookie, they come in, they're admitted to my program. Day one, I want to start those kids off with the latest, newest shoes, clothes. You want Jordans, you want Gucci, whatever you want, give it to them up front. And I believe at the end of 5 years, the materialistic stuff, it won't really matter anymore. it is disheartening to see children look thrown away. Yeah, and I'm talking to black people. Dusty, nasty, thrown away. Not a lot for their self-esteem, and you want them to sit down and talk about trauma. Doesn't work that way. You got to figure out how to deal with the aesthetics first. All of the music, all of the movies, teaching and coaching you to be fresh to death. We're in a country, y'all, got enough rappers and ball players. All I'm asking is to make sure Ray Ray and Pookie fresh every day. If you can take care of that part to boost his esteem so that he's motivated enough to do this work, I believe we can change a generation. I believe God has given it to me. It needs to be done. It is going to be done. I'm pregnant with this. I am burdened by this. It has to be done. And I hope nobody is, if you have ever gone without, if you've ever been to school with hand-me-downs and holes in your shoes, not knowing, where you're going to eat. And let me just say this out here, smelling like urine. If you've ever done that, you know where I'm coming from. And even those kids that smell like pee, urine, being a trauma therapist, I realized they wouldn't get up and go to the bathroom, because once they got to go to the bathroom, that's where molestation and rape that's where that would happen. Learning that. But they can't be tore down and tore up. And now, in my experience, I've seen foster parents who get good money, to take care of kids. You see their birth kids fresh to death, foster kids thrown away. That's who I would get, the revolving door. So I'll go back, University of Mental Health. It would be a college for adolescent and teens. We send our kids to college. I want these kids to feel like they're being sent somewhere to become who they really are. Not more than what they are, but who they really are. But the aesthetics have to be there. I don't want any hand-me-down beds, no hand-me-down furniture. I don't know. I want what you want for your kids. I don't want Goodwill. I don't want any of that. My kids in the community at University of Mental Health, you won't even know that they're somewhere with me. I want partnerships with Chick-fil-A, FedEx. I'm birthed with this, and my hope is this platform, y'all gonna help me do it. Right, fam? Y'all gonna help me do it. But the timeline for the University of Mental Health. I am working on my PhD in urban affairs. So urbanism is very important to me. I would give myself probably, I'm going to say 2 years on the safe side to be done. But a big part of my research, my dissertation, my proposal, I want it to be a proposal for the University of Mental Health. And I think this program could flourish in any urban city in America. It's not enough to go to their neighborhoods to say, black on black crime, y'all need to put the guns down, and then you're going back to your house in Cordova and Collierville. You ain't done nothing. You only went to say that so you would feel better. Period. I mean, to go and tell them what they need to do, and then you leave and go back to where you're going, fam, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I'm not going to say you haven't done nothing. Y'all, please forgive me. I'm not going to say that. But that doesn't work for me. My passion is, I want to get them and keep them. Can you imagine me getting a young man at 15 and he discharges and leaves me by the time he's 20? That's how you change a generation. And to me, God's will is his bill. Like, I'm not even sweating about building one. I'm really not, y'all. I know today I don't want any government funding, because anytime the government is trying to help black people, y'all tell me what happened. I'm keeping it real. I want our community to do this. I want private funding. We got enough ball players, rap. We can get this done. So I hope, I want some of this content to go viral. I want people talking about this, in their communities. Of course, I want to start here, with Memphis. But I want this to happen, or we need to stop talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Stop talking about them. What are we going to do? Jesus moved with compassion. That means that he had sympathy and sorrow, but action was always behind it as well. And I'm an action-oriented person. Those of you that have been knowing me for a long time, I can't stand just talking about it. I cannot stand fixing to, getting ready to, and about to. That's just me. But I'm so grateful that my baby want to help me. I'm so grateful she want to help me. I'm probably talking too much. I need a breath or something, Kennedy, in order for us to change places. So how does this sound, what I'm saying, y'all? Does it make sense to you? I mean, what I'm saying? I hope it does. Okay. Thank you, Rakia. And Miyagi. Thank y'all so much. So a part of this platform, I do want to know what y'all want, what you want to see. Of course, I want to start with me. I will, I hope to start offering some trauma intensive programs to the community for pay, but all proceeds will go for me, first of all, to make a living, but everything I'm doing, and I don't need a whole lot to make a living. I mean, I don't. I really do trust God. But I want the visibility, I want the visibility. I want it out there. Okay. All right. Yeah, only we will be able to do this. So Kenny just told me. So, I'm glad y'all hear me. I'm glad that makes sense. And maybe I'm stalling because I'm scared of you.
Something.
Okay, I'm done talking, y'all. So Kitty and I are gonna change. We're gonna change places, and I want to hear how she experienced me, and I hope my reaction and response will honor what it is that she's saying. And then we'll try to see if we can answer questions and hear back from y'all. All right. So you're gonna sit here? Mm-hmm. We may have to move the camera and stuff around a minute, y'all.
Intermission, y'all go use the bathroom for a second.
Yeah, because I'm gonna write some stuff down while she's talking, because I want to show it to y'all what it looks like.
Leave the live up. Go take a break. Get you a snack. Stretch.
Look, you know what you're doing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to stretch.
How did I do?
You did great.
All right. Yeah.
Here, have a sip.
I will. Give me a second, baby. I feel like I'm just rambling. If I could hear them, it would be better. Because when I hear people, that it means it's time to go to another subject.
They can only comment so fast.
I know it, but I can't even hear the comment. Give me a second.
Oh, I need to move this anyways.
So, Kennedy, you don't have to talk directly to me. That was just my thought for it. If you want to talk to them, I'm listening, and I'll just be kind of jotting down
Okay.
just how my actions affected you.
Okay. I got this one.
No, is that my water or yours?
No, yours right there.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be seen?
I don't want to be. They can see me.
Oh, okay. Maybe just from where I'm sitting.
Y'all can see me. Can y'all see me? If I need to move closer, if I need to get further into the camera, let me know. Miss Sharonda said y'all are so funny.
Kenny, I'm not going to look at my computer live stuff because I need to be paying attention to you.
Okay. I mean, I got the live up right here next to me.
So whatever you need to do.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You good?
I'm okay. Yeah, I just want you to be okay, baby.
Oh, they said they see half of me. Let me turn my chair.
Boy, look, you want me to turn the thing around?
I can turn the chair. And roll your feet. What about now? Move closer to the camera. Okay, hold on.
Want me to do it? We're doing all right to be our own little production people.
I know, right? Just a little close.
I know, but they can see you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all know I don't do the spotlight. So this is a little different for me. I'm gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I still need to move. Y'all can see me? Alright, let me not. We eating on candy. I know it. It's hard for me me not to hide. I'm used to being, you know, in the background. I guess that's my trauma. That's the word of the day.
Man, it does make me sad to hear that.
Make you sad?
I mean, that's
Why does it make you sad?
Well,
I mean, when you get used to, sometimes, I mean, it just, I don't know. I think, or maybe that's my warped version of reality. I feel like some people are meant to play background roles as long as they keep it together.
yeah, baby, but you showed up so big and bubbly and happy all the time, and to realize,
I'm still that. Just a little harder.
but to realize you were hiding as you were showing up big.
Well,
You know, that's what my sadness, because you never looked like you were, you know, sad or down.
that's true. Move back. Move back. Move up. Move center. It's too close.
Do you need a ball to squeeze, because it's a grounder?
I'm rocking.
I know, so you probably want to turn that over then.
No, I see this so I can, because I can't see that far. The
Okay.
comments.
Okay.
So,
We'll circle back to the comments.
with regard to what they're saying as far as seeing me, do you want to be seen?
I don't have to be seen.
Okay.
I really don't. What you might say may be hurtful, but it's not harmful. Like, I am healed enough to handle it. I really am.
Yeah. This is nowhere. This is nowhere near an attack to my mother. I'm not coming for my mother. I'm not pointing any bad fingers at my mom. It's simply what she mentioned in the beginning, that I'm naming I'm naming my experiences of her.
So you can come for a part of me that didn't show up for you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
You can attack a part of me. It's not the whole me, but there is a part of me that probably needs to be attacked.
Attacked?
Well, however you want
More
to do it.
so.
Because
I
you
don't
don't have to take care of me, is what I'm saying, babe.
And so that's the thing. I'm so used to taking care of.
I know.
I don't know how not to take care of, which unfortunately that has landed me in some really sticky predicaments, because I'm always taking care of the next person. I'm always, I guess, worried about how the next person's gonna feel, or what my actions are, how it's gonna affect them.
Right.
So,
What if you talked about it in third person? Like, Kennedy's mom was Lakeside Queen, and if you talk about it in third person, maybe it'll remove you from. And I'm just
I
trying
will be
to.
removed.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I guess I want you to go and attack me so we can get it over, because I don't want to get attacked every day.
I mean,
You know? But now, of course, I don't want you to, but I don't get what I want.
What you mean?
Like if you have to say it.
I mean, bottom line is you just weren't there. There's no other way I can put that. I mean, it's not that you were kind of there, you were in and out, you weren't there. I mean, I don't know how to. I'm not as professional as my mother, so I don't know how to put it in a nice, articulate way. But I was, as long as I had gas money or food, and my hair was done, I was straight in my mama's eyes. Whole time I was far from straight, because even though I had the car, I had friends who used me just for the doggone car. And when I found out, those friends were using me for the car, when I needed somebody to turn to talk to my mama, I'm getting the textbook answer, and then she gone about her way to, really help and involve the next little girl who's going through the same thing I'm going through. So in a sense, it wasn't fair.
Yeah. What did you believe about yourself as a result of me not being there?
That I just didn't matter. I didn't matter as much as my brother did, because and I'm not trying to put my brother out there, but Caleb did have more needs than I did. And in my eyes, is what I felt like. That's what it seemed like. Caleb had more needs than I did. And so the stuff that I needed, I kind of figured out on my own, whether it was the right or wrong path. Most of the time it was the wrong path, but it's life. It happens.
Did you find yourself like trying to overplease these people that were not good?
Most definitely.
Because the belief was you didn't matter. So
most definitely. It landed me in a lot of, I'm not gonna say a lot, I'll say a couple, because it was two really emotionally damaging relationships with guys. Just wanting to make sure they were always okay, because I felt like if I make sure somebody's okay, I'm doing everything I need to be doing, they're not gonna leave me or hurt me, and they still did both, left and hurt. And so it's like back to square one of more self-destruction. I'm pretty sure, I think I came home for at one point like every day slamming some type of door, breaking something, destroying something. It got to the point where I was at home probably 3 days straight and I didn't speak to anybody. Yeah. I would pick up and leave. I'm sorry, what the hell? But I would pick up and leave at like 2 and 3 in the morning. I didn't care if she knew where I was going or not. I'll be back, and that was just that on that. Because I felt like as long as my brother was straight, as long as Dre was straight, I'm straight. And as long as I let my mama every now and then, I'm breathing, everything's okay. When in reality, there was a lot of stuff going on where I genuinely needed a parent. I didn't care if it was my mom or my daddy. I just needed somebody. And neither one of them were there. And that sucked big time. That sucked big time. That wasn't a fun time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you finna cry?
No, I'm just thinking about how intense our fights got.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, what I thought. And I'm just wondering if that's when you needed me.
Yeah,
you had me.
We would fight. We would fight because I'm pretty sure I would come to you with something and you would, I don't want to say brush it off, but it felt like you were brushing it off.
Yeah.
Or, like I said, you would throw a textbook answer at it, like, let me just pull out one of my little therapist tools, throw it at her. I've been doing this to her my whole life. She knows how to navigate with those tools. She'll be fine. Mm-hmm. When in reality, I didn't need a therapist. I needed my mom. Yeah. I needed my mother. I didn't need the Lakeside Queen. I didn't need the Mercy Lady. I didn't need the lady who was doing all the groups, all that fun stuff, at Mercy when she would throw all the parties. I didn't need that. I needed my mother. And to be honest, it's probably going to be hard for you to hear, but it's like, I can't even answer the question of what does that look like when you need a mother, because I don't know. Yeah. I don't really necessarily know what I need. Because like you said, I've been Mom Junior. And to be honest, if we want to keep it real, I've been Mom Junior before the divorce.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because Kennedy, and this is like when you took your first steps, I was bedridden with Caleb. Like, you remember, but I was pregnant. I had this tube in my leg. So I couldn't even get up for you to say, here, come to mama. Because by that time, you already knew to rub my belly to say, brother, baby brother. Mm-hmm. And then he got born as sick as he was.
Yeah, I feel like.
So the bonding never completed, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, unfortunately, I know a lot of, I can only speak from the Black community because I'm not sure what happens in the other communities, but it seems very easy for, the parent to pass off a bulk of the responsibilities to the oldest child. I'm not really sure where that came from, where that tradition came from. I understand it's like, oh, they're older, they see what I'm doing, and, they can help. But there's a difference between helping and like full-blown passing off your responsibility as a parent to the next child. Mm-hmm. And at one point I felt like I had the full-blown responsibility of like a mom. Speaking, after the divorce, y'all, I'm taking the boys, Caleb to practice, Dre to get a haircut, Caleb left his shoes at home, I'm leaving school early, I'm skipping school, I don't think you knew this, but I was cutting class to make sure Caleb had what he needed at school, or I'll be cutting my 7th period class to make sure I'm picking up Dre from school on time because he didn't like to wait. And so I'm doing all this at 16, 17. My friends who I had around me at the time, some of them, my actual friends are on here, but the little friends I did have, they actually started to call me mom. And that was my name in a lot of their phones, mom, to the point where I even started to take over the mom role in my friendships, and that went pretty sour because I felt like once I could not take care of them the way they needed to be taken care of, they was gonna drop me like a hot potato too. And essentially that is what happened. Once I started to heal and come out of that mom mode and just be regular Kennedy, people still expected me to drop everything and take care of them. And it wasn't fair because once again, I feel like I was back at square one in the place that I was with my own family. Like, if Kenny can't take care of it, then it's a bust.
Yeah. And one thing, I think it's important that I came home every night. And so some parents would be like, I was home, we had food. However, I now look back and realize my head was there, my body was there, my heart was not.
Mm-mm.
So you coming home and I'm just
under the
cover, just depressed. I mean, I am.
Well, I feel like I was coming home. Even I was coming home working late from the movies. I'm getting off work at 10:30. It's school night, and I'm coming home. I'm knocking on Dre's door, making sure he's asleep, checking on Caleb, making sure he's good, and then I go to my mom's room, check on my mom, make sure she good. It's like I go in my room. You know who check on me? Casey Lou.
The dog, yeah.
Casey Lou had my back. If nobody checked on me, Casey Lou did. She had my back. And I think that's probably why we think it's thieves the way we are now. Because I don't know if it sounds childish or not, but if y'all don't know who Casey Lou is, that's my dog. That's my big girl. I've had her since I was in 8th grade. But
that you came to kidnap.
I did not kidnap her. She needed saving.
I'm glad you did.
She needed saving. But having Casey there was actually probably what kept me from hurting myself. I'll be honest.
I know.
Because Casey was going to be devastated without me. Y'all were going to be fine. Y'all were going to figure it out. My dog would.
The story you told yourself is that we were going to be fine.
That y'all were going to be fine. But my dogs. Because I checked out emotionally with y'all. I stopped honestly caring if y'all were okay. Mm-hmm. I was just getting the job done because I knew either I was going to have to hear somebody mouth, which I didn't have the space for, or something was going to go completely wrong and I would have to be the one to fix it. Or everybody would just be slow. Like, ooh, we don't know what to do. What do we do?
And then we're going back and forth to court for Caleb.
Right.
Back and forth, trial, they're doing that. Which also makes sense because in my denial, I really thought, okay, Auntie Pam is calling me, tell her. In the trial, at the end of the trial, when Caleb was acquitted of all charges, we went to the Bahamas. Remember? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, the Bahamas is gonna fix everything.
Yeah.
Bahamas was a bust when we got there. We got tension there because it was another way to outrun feeling, and you can't.
We took 2 trips to try to run Bahamas and Disney and both of them were terrible.
Terrible.
They were I don't care how many good pictures y'all see. Those big vacations were awful.
Because you cannot heal on top of debris.
Yeah.
Everybody has to clear this side of the street. Kennedy needed to be rescued. I couldn't rescue her if I was not willing to clean my side of the street. It just doesn't happen. You can't rescue or repair until the debris is cleared. And I really didn't think I had any debris. At the same time, I was so glad when I found out. The awareness was like, damn, now I get it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I was healthy enough to get the reality at the time, When I got it, I do want you to know I went straight to work on it. I went straight to work on it.
And I'm gonna be honest, when you first told me that you were working on it, my my first response was, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's way too late. I don't care what kind of work you're doing.
Right.
The damage is done. The fights have been set. You know, we have set our roles in each other's lives. That was my initial thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I say that honestly because I have refused to go back to get work done as well. And so what prompted me to go ahead and go back to therapy is my mom. Because there was an incident where I really did this was like very recent, very, very recent, like 2 months ago, where I had a complete mental breakdown. And I just finally admitted, like, why am I not enough to the people who are in my life? And, you know, we, of course, had a very tough conversation and identified some of those traumas, you know, some things that have happened. And that's what prompted me to go ahead and go back to therapy. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't until I went back to therapy that I started to be open to the work that you were doing.
Yeah. Thank you, baby.
I didn't.
Oh, say it again.
It wasn't until I went to therapy that I started to, you know, acknowledge the work that you were doing.
Thank you so much.
Because to me, it was BS at first.
Right.
I felt like you were trying to cover up once again, whatever, or trying to make it not seem as bad as what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time, you know, because we definitely have had our arguments, we definitely had our fights, as of 2 weeks ago, recent. But those fights are so much more healthier than the ones in 2016, 2017, whatever. We
repair quicker.
Yeah.
And the incident that got you back in therapy, and I just have to shout out the person that trained me, is who you're now seeing. Yeah, we the top two, what it is that we do. But when you call me with the incident from Ben, you kind of downplayed what was happening 2 months ago, you know, that you were not as triggered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I was healthy enough to see what was coming and how much help you were going to need. And so I put the plan in motion that here's the money for the first session. She may or may not call. And I want to go ahead and do, and I fell back.
And I want to touch on that. I thought that was one of your tactics, you know, because the money thing, that was a big issue for me. Because I would tell you, man, something so effed up just happened. And it's like, well, here go $50. $50 gonna do.
Yeah.
Other than give me to my medicine man.
They know,
But it's like the $50 was only gonna stretch for so long until I run out or I'm done doing whatever, and then it's like I'm still upset. Mm-hmm. I still don't have anybody to talk to. I still don't have anybody to process this with. And so when you first threw out the idea, I'm gonna pay for your session, here she go again, man. Here she goes steady throwing money, you know. But sitting in that first session, it was okay, this lady helping me. Yeah. Because you put me with one of the best.
Right.
So, I mean, I had no choice but to see that as like you were actually handing me a baton and not just getting me to be quiet.
I was so scared though, Kennedy, because I did think that you would see it as one of my tactics. I saw how affected you were by the situation 2 months ago. And I saw you working hard to minimize it. And then I knew, I kept saying, I don't want to mess this up. Because I don't know how to respond. I don't want to mess this up. And had we had one of our fights over what happened 2 months ago, and if I was still unhealthy, we wouldn't have survived. That would have broke us.
No, for real.
That was going to break us. I just knew, and again, I'm responsible for the effort. Only God gives the results. So I'm calling the only person that I know that's as skilled as me, the person that taught me, basically saying, I'm going to tell her I talked to you. Here is the money. I don't know if she's going to call. I was prepared for you to say, but I had also done my part. You know, I had also done that's all I could do.
Yeah.
And pray about whatever we were going to look like, you know. But I knew also I couldn't handle that. I didn't even want you to handle because I went to Rage. I went to, do y'all want to know what size my orange jumpsuit you want that to be?
Right.
Which would not have been helpful at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have been helpful. But I'm glad that you accepted the gift because of the gift we have now.
Right.
You know, because of the gift. But I had to also be healthy enough to receive it. Because I could have sent you to therapy, not done any work on myself.
Right.
And all I would have done was just undo everything. Which is what I hope parents hear. It is not enough to just send them. It's not enough to send them.
You gotta do the work. And so
yeah.
It's funny to me. It's probably not gonna be funny to you. I don't know if it'll be funny to y'all. But before we got to this point, we were in a really bad argument. I don't know what it was, but you're gonna understand. Anyways, I woke up and I texted her at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I was like, we should go to mother-daughter therapy. And this is in response to like you telling me about myself, I think the night before. And my mom was like, I was like, we should go to mom and daughter therapy. And she goes, excuse me, you can go to therapy. I've been doing the work, sis. Like, you can go and finally get your help, but you're not going to discredit whatever I've been working on over here. And so when she kind of, you know, let me know that, like, I'm doing my work over here, that, you know, that was another green light for me. Like, you know, you want to be better.
Right.
And not to say you never not wanted to be better, but I think, like you said, you were finally recognizing, like, I guess what I needed. I don't know what I need, but you were starting to recognize it. And so by getting back in therapy, you know, doing the work, that has definitely helped us.
Yeah, right.
For sure. It's hard. It ain't perfect.
No, it's not perfect.
I think there is some resentment there still that needs to be worked through, but it's not like I sleep with this at night, that, you know, my mama did this or didn't do that, because that's not at all what it is. It's more so of, okay, that happened. I didn't receive what I needed. Now it's time to process it and do the work.
Right.
To where eventually we'll be able to have this conversation like we are now.
And I was one of those parents that would always say to my kids, you just being disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Whenever they would try to tell me about myself. And that's going to only fly for so far, being disrespectful. Because if they continue to be disrespectful, it's something that we're not hearing. It is something that we're not hearing.
And I want to touch on that. I feel, to an extent, I can admit, yes, there were some times where I came extremely disrespectful. That was not okay for the way I called myself coming for my mother or confronting my mother at one point, because I'm still very much a child and need to stay in a child's place. However,
you grown.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But, you know, when we have invited certain tough conversation and it has gotten heated,
right.
At one point, I was telling you stuff you just didn't want to hear. And then you would go into, okay, well, watch your tone. Watch how you talk. But it's like, no, don't, you know, because we were just doing this fine until I started to identify where you were going wrong. And it's like, you didn't want to hear it at that point.
Well, who wants to hear when they're going wrong?
I've had to hear it. I've had to hear it my whole life. And I've just had to roll with the punches. And so you see where I would get so angry, because it's like, I'm always having to hear where I went wrong. Not from you, but from everything else around me. I'm always having to hear where I went wrong or something.
Let me, you can keep talking right here. That's because she called Pam. I'm not sure if this is Caleb.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know what I was saying.
About coming for me. Hey, Caleb.
But, that just threw me off. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. If y'all want, while I recollect my thoughts, y'all can have another bathroom break. I ain't gonna lie, my brain don't work as fast as my mama's. When something else goes on, my attention span goes that way. So,
yeah. Huh? Yeah, he's good.
You're going to get me back on track because I didn't know what I was saying. I just told the truth. I didn't know what I was saying.
So when I would say watch your tone, and so this is what I tried to also say to you, okay? I didn't want to hear it, true enough. You needed me to hear it. Whenever we
in the way that I was saying it too, because I needed you to hear that pain and that anger. You know, you would say my tone was disrespectful, but it's like, how, be honest, y'all, how can you know what I'm saying, get yourself together and say, Mom, you were not there for me.
And then, no, Kennedy, so if you needed me to hear it, like when I need people to hear things, I have to watch my tone because it won't land. So I have to up my words, my vocabulary. Because the tone puts the other person on defense. You know, if I need you to hear it and want it to land, which is where we got to, I am angry with the way you handled that. That was not, now I can hear that. Yeah, I mean, does it make sense what I'm saying? And I think that comes just with growth and continued work. I don't need you to hear it. I need to pop you. I need you to feel it. I don't need you to hear it. I don't even trust you with the content. You know, I need you to go pow. And I think that's I'm like, I know me. So if you want me to hear me, I can't hear you through the tone. So I think it is working on how do we put words around how hurt I am.
Yeah, it's hard when the little girl is the one that's screaming. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The adult, of course.
Now, when you said that to me, when you said the little girl is screaming, that I heard.
Yeah, that's honestly what it is.
But when you said those words to me, it's the little girl in me, Mom, that's hurting. That stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
Then you got my attention. I could hear it. You know, but the tone, I couldn't. Now, I'm not saying good, bad, right, or wrong, but I do think that's just, you know, like a life lesson. If I want to be heard, and I'm so guilty of it. That's kind of what the weaponizing is. When I put heat on it and want to pop you, I could care less about it landing. You know, but I think we do a good job because you even said it now. Like, this is probably going to be hard for you to hear, Mom. You know, that's prepping me. So I have to brace myself that, okay, it's coming. And one thing we came up with was, and we do pretty well sticking to it, we'll text to say we want to have a tough conversation, but we say it with the text first. Because I was notorious for calling. As soon as y'all pick up, you know, and you're like, whoa, I can't hear that. So my thing was, okay, we need to talk. It's going to be a tough conversation. Let me know when you're in the headspace to do so. Again, shout out to Lee for just kind of delivering that, you know, in that way. Whew, we're talking a lot, ain't we?
Yeah, child. We're going to
what time church? School.
We're working on the hour 15.
Got it. So, I mean, we can kind of engage with them, Kennedy, if you want to. You know, I don't know how it is to pull people in, you know.
I guess, I don't know if y'all got questions.
Yeah, because we're just
open
talking.
Books.
We ain't that open, though. You know, but I want to know if it's helping somebody. That's what I want to know. Because we talk like this all the time. Just like this.
Right. And I want a quick disclaimer. Well, not disclaimer, but a quick update. You know, when I do speak to my mom now, if we do have an issue, because the little girl is definitely healing. She's definitely doing work. I can let her rest and I can speak as an adult. And so, when I was saying, you know, it's hard using a proper tone, that was then. Now, of course, I can use a better tone and come to her a lot more respectful and understanding.
Miss Allison said, how old was Kennedy in 2015?
I was 16. Caleb was 15, I was 16.
I know, and all of that, Kennedy, tainted your, like your prom, like all of your prom graduation, all of it was clouded under all that.
Yeah, I will admit.
That's what my sadness.
There was so much that went on, y'all. I literally I shaved my head 2 days before prom. I called my mom and I told her, I was like, can you send me some money? Because they charge $65 to cut all your hair off. And she was like, are you going to prom? I was like, I don't know. I didn't even buy a ticket yet. Mind you, just 2 days before prom. So I shaved my head, and then the day before prom is when I went and got a dress. And I think I even told mom, I was like, I ain't going. I think I'm going to get my ticket away. I didn't want to go. So it's like, there was just so much sadness.
A lot of sadness.
To the point where it's like, even if I did do fun stuff like the senior trip, there are some people on here who can vouch. My senior trips, pep rallies, games, I acted the most plum fool, because if I had folks laughing at me, looking at me, talking about me, it numbed everything else that was going on outside of that. I would very much rather be the class clown. I'd very much rather be the one getting put outside the classroom. I was that one where my desk was outside the classroom. I was getting phone calls home, talking back to the teacher. It was easier to act out than to really say, you know, I need my mama, or, you know, I need my dad, or whatever was going on. And I say that because y'all pay attention to your children. Yeah. Seriously. When they get to acting out and doing stuff you know, seriously, that you never thought that they would do, ask them what's going on. Ask them what's going on. Not necessarily you know better and you don't do that, or da-da-da. You know, not necessarily chastising them, but have a conversation with them and see where their head is at.
Kennedy, they have to... Can you give an example of when it was safe enough for me to ask you what's going on? Like, you know, because there are times that parents do ask, and they kind of don't, you know, they do ask and they do check, and you know, sometimes kids are kind of like, nothing, I'm fine.
Well, because at that point, it's like when I needed you to go ahead and ask what was going on, I got punished for it instead. Yeah.
But like if you're saying now, y'all ask, you know, I also wonder if you could appeal to your peers, you know, to if they do ask, how do they, you know, because I do think parents want to know, as messed up and wounded, you know, as we are, you know, now I'm a skilled clinician, so I kind of knew how to do so. Well, first I had to work on myself.
Right.
Because when you don't
work on your own approach, I think it'll be easier.
You're not going to tell me if it's not safe.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know. And a lot, when you talked about, I guess I want to say this too. I counted all the work I did with some of the kids that were in the mental health hospital. When Kennedy's friend Brandon was shot and killed, I realized how some of those kids from those neighborhoods took care of my baby. I realized that, and not that I ever downed any of them. I saw that as God in the universe protecting her for the way I protected some of those kids, if that makes sense. Now that's a stretch. That's me telling myself this story, but unless they hurt her or harmed her, I want to know the little friends. I won't say little others, but I want to call them. But at the same time, I had a lot of. I was devastated for you when Brandon was killed, because you know he's one of those that that I would honor so much for realizing who you were, and even hanging out in the neighborhoods, but also letting everybody else know this ain't that with her. She ain't about that life, you know. And so I will forever, my allegiance is always to the hood, to us. Always. Because we do know how to, we care for each other. And they definitely took care of her when I was not available. The pain you went through with that, I knew that pain because I treated it. And I definitely tried to apply some, you know, grace to that area, but also a nod to your wisdom, Kennedy, for choosing good friends who were not good for you. At least you chose the good ones.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I had some type of common sense. I knew pretty much who to stay away from for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always, so my heart, I always want to humanize people because you never know who you're going to need. I mean, you never know, you know, who you're going to need. You just never know. I still believe the only reason why we are where we are It started with me. And I had done a lot of work on myself already, and had already given myself a pass. But it was the deeper level, deeper level stuff.
You were
that
giving
I still
yourself a
gotta
pass
do.
on the surface level. You were like,
It was
okay.
a checkbox.
Yeah,
I did,
it's like
okay.
you're just checking stuff off the box, but you're not really looking at the fine print of the
Right.
terms and conditions. It's like, no, invalid.
Right.
Not now. It doesn't work right now.
Mm-hmm.
Try again.
It took my relationship, I think, being safe enough with Lee, and I had lots of close white friends at the time. But it took Lee being a black woman basically saying, the way she said it, because I'm going back and forth, she said, hell, you did leave them kids. You left them. That tone got my attention. At the end of the day, she said, I don't care how much you made, what you did for them. You left them. And you got to honor that. And it shook me from that point. Because you can't cross-examine somebody's feelings. You can't. You cannot. If somebody says you hurt them, you can't say, I did the best I could, or you should be over that by now. You got to honor the fact that, yeah, they're hurt. And if you want the relationship is working on what do I need to do with the repair. And personally, I don't believe children are responsible for the repair in a relationship. I think the parents have the resources. I think the parent have to go and say, I realize that we are distant and there's this thing between us. What do you need from me? To work on. It takes a lot of ego strength to do that. Now, I could be wrong, but I do believe it flows, and every relationship is different. You would have to see how much damage has been done. But yeah, I pray that I stay open to, to repairing,
Same here.
I
Definitely been a journey, but
we hang out now.
I was definitely gonna say I prefer this roller coaster over the last one. This one's actually enjoyable.
Yeah.
I kind of look forward to the next loop or whatever, because it's not like we stay hanging upside down like we've done in the past.
Right.
The ride a breakdown. No,
Right.
It's up and running this time.
I do realize, Kennedy, how much people could not have said. I would say, yeah, man, my daughter real close. I realized with this reset, how
We've been flogging.
How much I didn't know about.
We've both been flogging.
However, I didn't know I was flogging.
I knew I was flogging.
You knew, I did.
Because I knew how I felt about you down.
I didn't know how you felt about me.
And that's not saying I hated you, but I knew I just didn't rock with
but
you.
I hope
like
y'all hear that. I didn't know. I didn't know that we were flogging. It wasn't until, I still hear, I know where I was in the house at 250 when Lee said that to me. You did leave those kids. And then I went, well, damn, I did. And so my awareness, let me do something about that then. And now it wasn't me either. It wasn't even me taking care of, the kids, the people at my job. It was friends and family.
Yeah,
pulling on me as well.
And you were still tending to them.
Tending to them.
But then you would call me and complain about
I know it.
And so that would so annoy me.
Because you needed me.
You dropping everything to go and help these people with these same issues. I got a new, different issue every day, every week, every hour, every minute. These folks calling with the same issue they've been dealing with for 20 years. That was so not fair to me.
Right.
That was so not fair to me. And you're calling me about, I know these same issues, and then I'll try to slip something in there, and you'll be like, and yeah, Kennedy, that's just something, we're going to just have to work on.
And look at what I was doing. Let me tell you what I was doing to you that was almost, this is a heavy word. I don't know how far we're going to go with this, y'all, but I hope y'all will back me up. This is a heavy word. With me calling her to vent to her about grown folks in the same place, they ain't gonna do nothing different. Who I'm really mad at is myself. The time it took away from my kids. And me trying to use my daughter for a friend was incestuous. Emotional incest. For me to almost have her take care of me. That was never her role.
But then when I would come like, girl, you're doing too much, then I'm back to I'm the daughter. So it's like, am I, we girlfriends, we kicking it, we sis, or am I your child?
Right.
And if you want me to be both, let's go ahead and create that boundary. That's why I told you I can't keep answering these phone calls where you're venting.
But Kennedy, but wait, that's what's so beautiful we learn. Don't, so go back to before, I know, I'm glad you said that.
What?
But when I leaned on you too heavily to make you my friend, to make you,
It confused the heck out of me.
But these people that I was helping, I did that to you because I couldn't find a friend in them.
Yeah.
Do you get, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were still work. They were still project of feeding, in my opinion. So,
but
that's what I'm saying.
now I feel like Mom Senior at this point. Bump Mom
It
Junior.
wasn't fair to you. That's what I'm saying. It was not fair to you. Which is why there's a little distance between me and some of y'all. I'm letting y'all know where it's coming from because we kicking it for real. But the other day, because Kennedy is now working for me, University of Mental Health is
with you.
With me, not for me, with me. It's ours. We're two black women that's going to launch this. But the other day I was at Office Depot. I got on a phone call. It frustrated me. And I called her. And you let me through that. And you said, Mom, I'm trying to learn the business. I can't hear all of this if it doesn't have anything to do with the business. And I said, okay, thank you.
And so that's why I said send me a voice message or audio message, letting me know I can navigate that conversation better. Because right now, my brain's in business
But
mode.
this is what you did for me. After you set that boundary, then I was in Office Depot, got a call that frustrated me. And I was getting ready to call you. Like, girl, guess what? Then I stopped.
And you waited until I came over to tell me.
I don't think I told you all of it, though.
No, not all of it.
Because
yeah.
when I stopped myself, Kennedy, I saved so much energy and got the shopping done. Oh my God. Because when I do that and it takes me all over the place, that's wasted energy.
And then you be like, let me get off this phone because I can't function.
But I didn't even do that then because in Office Depot, I remember you said, Mom, I can't do both. You realize how many people I've had work for me that couldn't set that boundary with me?
And they still don't get the job done.
I mean, they got the job done, but I probably frustrated the heck out of them.
Right. Because
they couldn't say it to me. So one reason why I wanted to do this, to do this clearing with us, because you also have the same dream with the University of Mental Health. I only want to do this with you. I really do. For so many reasons, So, I mean, that was the test of doing so because when I didn't call you, I was like, oh my God.
Go, Kel.
I know, but you told me that.
Go ahead.
So the thing is, y'all can learn from these adult kids, y'all. I mean, you can learn from them. They know a lot.
If you give us the space and opportunity.
Absolutely.
But we can't, and it's hard. Parents, it's hard for your adult children to unlock their full potential when they don't have the space and opportunity.
Right.
And space and opportunity does not mean money, a car, and a place to stay.
Mm-mm.
Those are requirements to live.
Until you're 18, though.
Sure. But...
And you can still be grateful for those things.
You can. I'm not, at all knocking, those resources.
It's not enough, though.
Real space and opportunity is, I want to say... Was it when I first got back? When I first got back to Memphis in the summer, my mama would call me to sit on her lap. Just come sit with me.
You liked that, didn't you?
Yeah.
You needed that.
But I'm saying I'm giving an example of what space and opportunity is.
Right, okay.
Because even if they don't open up all the way in that moment.
I had to earn you back, yeah.
They're feeling something. They feel something transpire. Like you're trying to. If your kids can sense that you're trying, I promise you're gonna get the results you're looking for.
Absolutely, not without defending.
Right.
And I think with you coming back, that was my chance. You know what I mean? It wasn't a chance to say "told you so," blah blah blah. It wasn't a chance. That was my chance to, to earn you back. The last thing a parent should, if your kid is in trouble, and if you are the last person that they will call when they're in trouble,
that's the problem.
Your relationship needs some work. Every parent should be the very first person, that your child, would call. So that was my chance. And I made a commitment. My contract with me was I'm gonna hang in here no matter what. And I was glad, you know, how happy I was, you know, for you to be in my apartment. I didn't try to make your own bedroom, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
But you know, you getting your own apartment, it was kind of, Kennedy has never had her own space. She's never had her own space.
Yeah, I don't know how to act.
So I didn't mind, you know, getting the apartment. And people ask, like, you know, how much you paying? You know what I said? I can afford it. Any reason what you want to know?
You pay in love.
But you know, but other people are wondering like how I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, I can afford it. Now, if you want to help, you can. Or you know,
put my cash tag in the comments.
Or the thing is, don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about why you're worried about it. God put me in a place that our relationship needed this, and God is honoring our efforts. That's all. We just hope, y'all, that this is helpful. We just hope so. We are 1 minute over. This has been a great. Thank y'all so much. Your messages, we not fast enough to answer all this stuff live, so we're gonna go back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back in the comments.
And we need a time now too. Thank y'all so much for Cindy, thank you so much. Thank y'all for honoring this, and
this won't be the first or last time.
I mean,
this is the first time, but this won't be the last time. Eventually we're gonna want to do like topics, you know, a topic that we can actually stay on. This was something for you all to get a feel of what basically will be transpiring between us, you know, as we continue.
It was what I needed to do to make sure you were okay if we are going to do this together. I am in a place that I don't want any relationship in my life right now. If there is a potential elephant in the room, I can't do that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that. So I got to check to see, hey, we good? You know, kind of, we're not good. If you say something that, you know, offends me, hurts me, bothers me, I'm going to let you know. Fall back just a little bit. But, you know, that's just the way I got to live. I can't roll. I can't do that anymore. And I'm grateful that my kids will care for me in a minute. You know, this is that.
But we would have never had that confidence had you not instilled that in us.
I know.
Got to give credit where it's due.
Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
Closing remarks.
So we're gonna take a break because this was really exhausting. It was. I know it. It was exhausting. I pray that it helped y'all, and we'll go back through these and try to answer some of these. And as she said, we do want to do talk. We want to know what y'all want to see.
Yes, please tell us.
Y'all want to come in and have a session live with us? I mean, we want to know what y'all want to see. We just want to help Black people, and Black mental health is what we want. Because we believe we know how to help us. We do. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna end this and make sure I can save this. Wait, Kennedy, how you save it?
You finna end it on the computer?
No, I can do it on here.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all.
Hold on, please don't delete it.
Huh?
Please.
I'm not gonna delete it. I don't. It said finish.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Do you finish?
Yeah, finish.